Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars speeder bike released in 2021. This particular interpretation of the speeder bike was first seen in Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 1. But I guess technically you could say the speeder bike was first seen in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Now with this speeder bike, this is a repaint. It's the same mold we've seen before with the Imperial speeder bike, they just painted it white, and that's basically it. You'll see in the size comparison section later on, they're exactly the same in every way except for the color. Now to be honest, I would have loved if it came with IG-11 with Grogu, but they just used a Scout Trooper, which technically we saw many of them driving speeder bikes in Season 1 and Season 2, so I guess it works. Now for those who don't know, the white speeder bikes that we see in The Mandalorian were used by the Imperial Remnant. So pretty cool stuff, a little cloning, some secret organizational stuff going on. So I'm really interested to see what the end game is of The Mandalorian and all the different shows that are coming out that tie with it. So getting back to this particular model, it's the same as the Imperial speeder bike, which comes in about 3.5 inches or 8.5 centimeters in length. So it's a pretty nice sized ship. Now for those who are new to my channel, what I like to do is go over the mold, get up nice and close, see what we're really buying here, look at the paint, put it on the stand, compare it to other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's get to looking at this mold. Just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So we looked at many of these throughout my channel, let it be Hot Wheels, Titanium, even Micro Machines, so we should be pros at these by now, at least a little bit. So back here, we have our thrust flaps. Our engine section is in the aft. You can see little fans here, which looks cool. Coming back, we have a little satchel, a seat, our Scout Trooper, looking nice. We have our control center right here, all these little buttons, nice. Our handlebars, or maneuver controls, looking good. Where his or her feet are, we have our altitude controls, and that's on both sides, looking good. We have our power cell right here, laser cannon, looking good. We have our outriggers, and in the center right here where it looks like a letter T, that is our sensors, and then in the front we have our steering vanes. So all in all, pretty nice mold. And of course on the bottom, we have 2 rivets holding it together, not 3, that's just a circle. Then we have our connector port for the stand, followed by copyright crap. Copyright crap everywhere down here. Never ceases to amaze me. All in all, a nice piece. So now let's have a closer look. And having a close-up, we'll begin looking at these steering vanes. You can see all the beautiful details in there. And what's cool is not only do we have a lot of doodads and shapes and angles, but the actual vanes themselves are not straight. You can see there's a little curve, which is kind of cool. Coming down, we have all these little pipes and little modules coming off. We have our blaster barrel, which looks good. Copyright crap, a rivet holding it together, 2 little recessed points. More detailing coming up to the peg port, which looks pretty cool. We have our power cell right here, and look at the detail on that. Oops, sorry. Nicely done. And it does have an interior, which looks amazing. Look at that. Like a little dish almost. Nice. Peg port for the stand. Coming down to the aft right here. Another rivet. Little code, and then look at all the detailing on there. That is amazing stuff. I think that came out great. I love all the little angles. Awesome. Now if I turn it this way and we look inside, we can see these little fans or thrusters. These are the engines, and look at that. Very nicely done. We have some molding in the center, and then we have our thrust flaps open right here. And they're not really molded, but it's nice that they put them there. You know what I mean? They could have had these shut, and it would have gave the Hot Wheels team less to worry about. But no, they modded it in here and molded it well. So, nice. Looking at the side real quick, we have some minor detailing on the thruster. Some nice detailing where the boot is and the interior of the craft. Little hose right here, a couple circles. Nice. And then coming to the front, we have our control bars right there. Minor line work. And then again, our outrigger and also steering vane. And that's the same for this side. There's like minor differences here and there, but for the most part, it's the same. Just very nicely detailed. Cool. So real quick, let's look at the top before we look at our trooper. And you can see it's nice details again. The outrigger has some nice stuff on there with these little pipes. Really amazing stuff. Then for our craft on the front, we have some nice line work. Looking good. And then look at this, the control panel here. Very cool. We got a couple dozen little buttons there. Nice. I think that came out great. And then underneath, we do have our seat. You can see it is rounded and there's some line work. And that also comes back here, which looks great. And then we have line work on the actual aft of the craft, leading to the satchel, which came out great. And that's the same for this side as well. This line work and the seat looking great. And the bag's actually molded well. The paint is a little runny here and there, but very nice touch. And real quick, let's take a look at the controls and then our Scout Trooper. You can see that all the negative space is basically filled in. The same goes for down here. All of this should be open and we should only see the foot pedals for the altitude, but they filled all this in for the peg port. Same can be said for the controls. All these little spaces are filled in. It is what it is. For the size, I guess it would be hard to do that. But we have little levers right here and here. Our handles. Scout Trooper's hands looking good. And you can see there is detailing on the interior a little bit, which is nice. And that goes for this side as well. Nice. Now for the Scout Trooper, you can see the armor does have some nice molded details. Paint is a little iffy here and there, but on the whole for the size, it's pretty well done. I love the belt section. What this would have really benefited from, and I know you guys are sick of me saying it, is some sort of wash. Now I think that's what they were trying to go for with this brown. But yes, it works in places, but they could have went with a nice, maybe a light tan or a watered down black, just to fill in all these crevices and really make the details pop. Coming to the back, I love the little backpack there, nice. Pretty cool. And the helmet looks great as well. You see the shape is there, the paint's there. They really nailed that. And then underneath is also black. Nice touch there. And then for the legs, we do have some minor folds and stuff. You know, fabric is something that a lot of companies have an issue with. But for the size, it seems to be working out. And then we have our boot with the armor on the knee. And the boot itself with that wash, or I should say brown paint. And it doesn't look bad. Pretty cool. The same goes for this side. Looking good. We have our little holster here. Because, you know, the Scout Troopers have that, like, tiny little blaster pistol. It reminds me of the noisy cricket from Men in Black. But, pretty cool nonetheless. All in all, a nice little piece. And before we move on to the paint, I do want to mention something. In my previous review for the Return of the Jedi version of this, the brown variant, I had a minor complaint that I thought that the Trooper was too small for the actual speeder. And, you know, looking at this one, maybe it's the paint that really sold it to me, but I think I finally figured out why the trooper looks so small. First of all, we all know a speeder bike should have negative space down here. This giant block shouldn't even be here. And also different parts, like the handles, are very, thick compared to how thin they should be if this was in scale. So when I put all that together, for example, if I hold it like this, look how big, the controls are in these beams compared to the trooper in his hands. So it throws off the scaling just a little bit, visually. Like if this was more of a collector-friendly line and they made this thinner, which might be a little impossible. This would be like a toothpick. But you know what? For what it is, I have to give him credit, and, I have to own up to it. Yes, the trooper does look a little too small, but that's due to how it is molded and how the plastic thickness is. So having said that, it's still a great little model. I do enjoy this particular one quite a bit. So now let's take a look at the paint. Alright, let's take a look at the paint on the speeder bike. This baby has about 7 different colors, and that might be pushing it, but just hear me out. The first color on here is a nice white. We have it for the steering vanes, the center section, aft, and then also underneath, and the Scout Trooper itself. Which, the Scout Trooper is actually painted very well with the black, which is our next color. For what it is, they did a decent job. Sure, we have some bleed in here and there, but not too shabby. Moving on from there, we do have brown. And that's located on the boots, the trooper's helmet, armor all the way around, which is kind of cool. Gives it a little lived-in texture, if you want to put it that way. And then that same brown is also used for the satchel, which does have some bleed in here and there, but not too bad. Moving on from there, we do have what I thought was gray, but when you look closer at it, you can see it is almost like a watered down or light, very light tan. And you can see it right here. And it's scattered all throughout the ship, and it almost gives the illusion of like winter camo, but it's not. And you can see right here above my thumb that it does have like a brownish or tan hue to it. So I don't know if it's maybe an earth tone mixed with gray, but it's not necessarily just gray, so I found it hard to choose a color. But yeah, pretty interesting. Some parts it looks like camo, some parts it just looks like filth. Whatever, paint's paint. It just adds to the model and makes it look cool. So I'm okay with that. Now speaking of gray, we do have gray for the seat, which is nice. And that goes all the way under the trooper, right to the back, which looks good. And then what we have is a dark metallic brown. And that's for the controls, the engine section, and the foot pedals, and the outrigger and blaster. Now at first I thought it was black, but upon further inspection, you can see it does have a brown hue to it. And if you have this in hand, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily just black. There's something mixed in with there that gives it that little brown hue. And also it has that little glitter pieces in there to make it a little metallic. So all in all, a nicely painted piece here. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So let's put this baby back on the stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. And just like other Hot Wheels starships, it does come with a nice stand. Now we're going to take the peg here and put it into the port on our vessel. You hear a snap. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars speeder bike seen in the center. First, on the right hand side, we have Grogu in his hover pram using the Force. Very nice piece there. And finally, on the left hand side, we have the Imperial speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. And as you can probably tell, it is the same exact mold. There's nothing different here. The only thing that's different is the paint. That's it. And I'm not really upset by it. You know, we saw Scout Troopers riding different types of speeder bikes in The Mandalorian and Return of the Jedi. So this works for me. I don't know. Let me know. Do you think Hot Wheels got cheap? Do you think it's a waste of money? Write it in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts on this. And for an added bonus size comparison with the Imperial speeder bike seen in the center, first on the right hand side we have the Hot Wheels Razor Crest, a nice piece, one of my favorites. And then on the left hand side we have the Mandalorian on his speeder, and if I turn it like this, you can see there is a little Grogu back there. Great little piece here. And you can see these two actually go pretty well together. Nice. As always, if you would like to see reviews of any of the ships I showed today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars speeder bike released in 2021. Now, I already reviewed this type of mold before. I like it. It's not the best, it's not the worst either. I understand the thicker plastic and the filled in spots to suit the needs of the stand, and it's okay. I'm not going to knock it. So I'm going to skip the mold and go right to the paint, which is great. It's not perfect. There is some bleed in here and there, but I love all these different colors that they're working with. The off grayish brown, the white, the dark metallic brown, black. Everything's working together here, and like I said, it's not perfect. It does have some little flaws here and there, but on the whole, I'm very happy with this piece. It lets it stand out with the collection, and that's what it's all about. Also, it does come with a stand with an Imperial Signia, which is always a great addition. And one last thing before I go, just a quick moment to say thank you to a couple different people. First of all, Doug and Tyler, my good friends. We were toy hunting a couple weeks ago, and Tyler actually found this in a Target. So awesome. It really helped me out because obviously, you know, circulation of Hot Wheels is limited, especially now with the holidays. So score! Thanks, guys. Thank you, Tyler. I really appreciate all your help with the channel. Good job, bro. Moving on from there. Also, I want to thank some subscribers like Kiwi, Blaine, Rex, Overlord, all you guys that I mention and name drop all the time. You guys are always sending me messages or little links to new products such as Hot Wheels, or just seeing how I am or commenting on my videos. You guys are probably the closest tier. Like if I ever had tiers and I'm the emperor of the channel, you guys would definitely be my grand moffs, you know what I mean? This channel, this community is growing every day, and at the time of filming this, I am so close to 3,000 people. Just imagine it, 3,000 people subscribed, and I know some people have millions and this and that, but to me, that's 3,000 people, you know, every single one of you is a gift, and the fact that we're all nice to each other and have respect, and we're just here to watch ships or hear me blab about something, you know, it really means a lot. It really makes you think, and I'm so glad that my videos are reaching people and informing you, offering escapism. That's what I'm all about. I love making these videos, and I really hope that you guys enjoy watching them as much as I do making them. And that's everything I have to say. So thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this review of the Imperial Remnant speeder bike. If you did, smash that like button, and if you'd like to see new videos every week, you know what to do, subscribe. So again, thank you all. I hope you're having a safe December, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.